Hi, we're here with Mark Gonzales, the Information Security Manager for CSU Pueblo. Mark works to keep the students, faculty, and staff's data secure and protects the entire campus with both our devices and our network accounts. So welcome, Mark. Thank you for being here with us today.
Well, thank you for having me.
Mark, to start with, can you tell us a little bit about how you and your team work to maintain security while we're all working completely online now?
Yeah, so what we do is we try to keep ourselves up to date with what's going on a local, state, and national level. And we do that by being part of different cybersecurity groups and being part of different publications that are out there. We work closely with the State Cybersecurity Center, and so it's a daily communication piece that we work with those different groups. And there's a lot of threats going on right now, and so being able to sift through all those and communicate what's important, what's real, and what's maybe not so real or not so important to the campus that's kind of tough, because if we were to communicate everything going on that we see, we would definitely either freak people out or cause what's now known as cybersecurity fatigue, where people just see the information, they almost become numb to it, right? And so we don't want that to happen. That's probably the worst case. So it takes a lot of time to kind of sift through that information, decide what's real, what's pertinent to the campus, and then sharing that in a way that doesn't become overwhelming. Some of the groups that we belong to are MS-ISAC, Multi-State Information Sharing Analysis Center, and that's a group of made up of different states, and we all share the threats that we're seeing. We had a few threats on campus, and actually what might be considered an incident in the last couple of weeks. So being able to share that with other folks in a way that doesn't harm our reputation, that's kind of a tricky thing as well, right? So anyway, being part of all that, all those groups is an important piece. We also have some pretty cool tools on campus to keep us safe. We have an artificial intelligence network and systems monitoring tool. That's the tool that monitors on an average over 2,700 different devices on our network at one time. We have over 572 servers. Those are both physical and virtual that we have to, maintain. And we average around 2 terabytes of network traffic running across our network at any one time. So it's a lot going on. We also have enterprise class type of email filter, so we can block things that we know are bad. We can, and then we can also notify our end users to see who's getting what. We can identify who's getting what to help them be more, maybe more like training, what to watch out for. We're a member of the Homeland Security Advisory Council. That's a state group trying to build a better way for smaller organizations, like folks with one security professional or none, like us at CSU Pueblo. And the group is focused on how do we help those smaller organizations with cybersecurity? How do we help them with the monitoring, the response, the planning, the training, when it's just really like one person? We have an awesome IT team. I think we're about 30-something people altogether. But everybody is so busy and focused on their job, what they need to get done today, that trying to now fit in security is that's kind of a challenge. And then on the local level, we belong to a Pueblo Critical Systems and Infrastructure Committee. I run that committee. It's made up of 35 different organizations in Pueblo, like healthcare, the 2 school districts, Pueblo Community College, CSU Pueblo, of course, utility companies. And we meet once a month and we discuss what's hot on our list, what's concerning us most. And right now, you know, COVID is the big thing. And there are a lot of COVID scams going on right now. A lot of emails and text messages going out saying you qualify for grants, or you qualify for, you know, you can miss your house payment for 2 months, or a bunch of different types of scams where when you reply, you think they're legitimate, they take your information and then they do bad things with it. So those are some of the things we do on campus to try to keep our campus community safe.
Well, it's great to hear that we're connected with local and national organizations, and we appreciate that you've reached out to so many to help us have a broad perspective of security on our campus. Can you tell us about any recent cyber attacks or phishing scams that have happened on a local level?
Yeah, so Pueblo in the last 3 or 4 weeks got hit pretty hard with a bunch of things. There are 5 organizations in Pueblo that got hit with ransomware. I think it's public now, so I can probably mention some of their names. Parkview Hospital got hit with ransomware. Evra's Steel Mill got hit with ransomware. There was an eye care center, and I can't think of the name, that got hit with ransomware. We on our campus in the last couple of weeks have had to deal with a email phishing scheme that dealt with a .pdf as a file attachment. That was a piece of malware that when I sent to the state of Colorado, our partners, and they work with the FBI, they were able to determine that that malware was a credential type of malware where it wants to steal your credentials. And so that was like a 2 or 3 day event for me and the team to try to get through. So a lot of stuff going on even locally.
So it sounds like they're coming at these cyber attacks from a lot of different directions and with a lot of different pretenses. The old send your money to a bank account on offshore to help a random prince isn't the standard script for us to look out for anymore. So could you help us understand a little more about how we can maintain security while we're working from home, and maybe some of the things we should be looking for?
Yeah, that's a good question. So, you know, it's like you mentioned, the old send your money to the prince who hasn't been able to get his money out of the bank scam. Those are pretty obvious now, and they used to be kind of obvious too because they were written bad, right? The email there was typos, it was broken English, and so they were pretty easy to recognize. The ones that we're dealing with now are very good. I mean, they're written very well. And so that's not really a way to do it anymore, right? We don't just say, oh, what's real and what's fake based on typos and the language that they're using. Now it's more, do they want me to click on something? And anytime somebody wants you to click on something, I always advise never click on the link that is included in the email. If it's an email about your bank or your healthcare or something important like that, go directly to the bank website that you know is real, and handle it from that point. um, another scheme that they try to get you to click on is to try to make you feel rushed in that email. Click now to get this 25% discount, or the old one, click now to get your free Burger King Whopper. They want you to, there's a sense of urgency to it. That's always a kind of tell that something's not right. So when you do get those emails, because there's really no way to block all of them, we do get a list from the MSISAC on a weekly basis, and we're constantly blocking domains, websites out there, and we're constantly blocking bad IP addresses. And so a lot of that stuff the campus community never sees because we're blocking it, but some of it gets through. So the important thing is to not try to be rushed into clicking on something. Never click on anything in an email. Even if you think it's the real deal, I still wouldn't click on it. They're so sophisticated now. Just go right to the site that you know is good.
That's great advice. So in our personal lives, we don't have robust email filters and phishing scam protections and the firewalls that we do on campus, but we carry around a mini computer in our pocket all day with our phones, and we're online much more, doing online banking, online transactions. How do we keep ourselves safe in our personal lives?
Yeah. So with laptops and desktop computers, we're all familiar with antivirus. We have to have our antivirus, and it has to be up to date. And we should set it up so that it runs an automatic scan when we're not using it, because it does slow down the computer when it's scanning. We also know to update our Microsoft security updates for our operating system, whether we're using Windows 10 or some of us are still using older operating systems. Updating those security updates is very important. And like Microsoft now, if you have Windows 10, it comes with free antivirus software. It's actually called Microsoft Defender Security Center. So it comes with an antivirus program. It comes with a firewall. It comes with network protection. It has an app browser that will tries to protect you from what websites you go to, and then it also even has a piece for keeping your kids safe. So if you have Windows 10, Microsoft Defender is it's free. You don't have to go out and buy one of the expensive packages. So that's for our computers, right? Laptops and desktops. But like you mentioned, mobile devices like our phones are probably used more than our laptops and desktops. There was a study done out of DU in Denver, and they asked their graduating class, if you only had one device to use when you graduated, would it be a laptop, a tablet, a desktop, or a phone? And I don't remember the percentage, but it was way up there, like 80-85% said a mobile phone, right? Because you can just do everything with it. And now you can hook them up to a monitor screen and use them like a computer. So having antivirus software out there to put on your phone is important. There are some free ones that are nice to use. They give you the basic antivirus package. Bitdefender is a good one. Avast is another good one. And actually, if you Google the top 10 mobile antivirus packages, there are a lot of good websites that have done a lot of testing on them, so you can choose what you need for your iPhone or your Android phone. And so getting antivirus software is important for your phone, and then having it scan on a regular basis. And some of the packages like Bitdefender, they will scan files in your email. As you open up the email, it'll scan the attachment automatically. And so that's a free service for the basic features. And I think if you want the full featured package, it's not very expensive. It's like $15 a year. So I mean, that's pretty affordable to keep yourself safe.
Absolutely.
Um,
Well, we can definitely add some links to the resources on the blog post for suggested security protection packages for different devices that you recommend.
Okay. The other thing I'd like to mention to keep yourself safe and the campus safe is not to use your campus username and passwords anywhere else in your personal business, right? Try to use, I know it's so hard, but try to use different passwords for different websites. And I think the last time I looked at my password manager that goes on my phone, it's a free tool called KeePass2. It's a password manager, keeps track of all your passwords. I probably have close to 100 passwords. And I'm sure that's not uncommon. I bet you people have at least 50 passwords that they deal with on a regular basis. So asking people not to use the same password is pretty tough, right? Asking them to use different passwords is really asking a lot from them. But if you have a KeePass or a password manager, that really helps a lot. And the way the industry is going now, it won't be too long before we get rid of passwords. We're looking at dual authentication, where it's something we know and something we have, like a fingerprint, that we can use to start logging into our computers and our phones. Right? So we'll have to try to remember all those passwords. Passwords are kind of a thing of the past now, but it takes a while to get through that once it's a newer technology, and newer technology always costs money, so it's not an easy thing to jump right into.
Well, that's interesting that passwords are becoming past words and we won't be using them much in the future. I know I have a lot of passwords that I keep track of myself, and I use a LastPass to manage across all of my devices. So we can link out to some of those password managing tools as well in our blog.
Yeah.
Well, we certainly thank you for your time today, Mark. We appreciate the suggestions that you've given us to help secure our work and personal data, and for all of the work that you and your team are doing on campus to keep us safe and secure.
Thank you so much for having me today.